And finally tonight, Steve Hartman specializes in the softer stories on our broadcast, but this week he put some real muscle into his reporting, as once again, with some help from above, he set out to prove everyone in the world has a story.
0 and lift off.
When the shuttle Atlantis took off last November to resupply the space station, it was also carrying something for CBS. A highly sophisticated news-gathering tool called an inflatable globe.
All right, ready?
Its purpose? To help astronaut Jeff Williams determine where my next story lies, which in this case is this place. A town in the former Soviet state of Latvia called Liepāja. Liepāja is a port town of roughly 90,000 people, which I had to narrow down to one.
Šveduks.
Maris Šveduks told me to meet him at his gym, where the first thing you can't help but notice, is that the guy is built.
Wow.
It's a morning session now, so.
God, I thought it was a mirror when I first walked in.
And get this, he's 50 years old, with arms that defy sleeves, and a back like a relief map of Switzerland. Handsome, lovely wife, beautiful family. From a man's perspective, there's a lot to hate about Maris Šveduks. But fortunately, there's a lot to love about his story.
Yeah, it could sound surprising.
As a kid, Maris was diagnosed with hepatitis. It left him scrawny and weak, which is why this struck him like it did. The movie Hercules. Maris says seeing bodybuilder Steve Reeves was the pivotal moment of his life.
I decided I want to be like him, and I will be like him.
Unfortunately, Maris's body wasn't so much like Hercules as it was Pee Wee Herman. He had no clue how to begin training, and there wasn't a soul in communist Latvia who would dare teach him.
Of all the things the Communist Party was paranoid about, perhaps the most bizarre was bodybuilding. It was fine with Olympic weightlifting, but bodybuilding was deemed too American and outlawed.
They can remember you. You was this guy who likes Western culture, so you are not like we want.
Undeterred, young Maris turned to the black market. Sailors would often smuggle in contraband, which is how Maris got his very first muscle mag. Cost him a week's wages. Later, he bought more, learned more, trained more, and to make a long scrapbook short, after the collapse of communism, guess who got on the cover of a lot of those same magazines?
When you just gain independence, to getting in American magazine, that was a big achievement.
I bet it was.
He also opened his own gym. That was always his other big dream, although it hasn't come easy either.
But what can you do?
He first opened it here, then had to relocate to here.
Right up there.
In fact, it seems every couple years, for this reason or that.
Did they tear down the building?
Yeah, they sold the building.
Because somebody else would pay more rent.
Yes.
Maris has had to relaunch his business from scratch.
How many gyms were there?
8. 8 locations now.
And even now, the heavy lifting isn't over. Like small businesses all over the world, Maris is struggling in this economy, just to break even. But when I asked him, why don't you just give up? The question stumped him, as if the very concept had never entered his mind.
Don't put some fence about your mind, so dream and try to achieve it.
Maris Šveduks, cover model for bodybuilding, poster child for fortitude. Be sure and watch next Monday when the astronauts send me halfway around the world to the country of Oman for a story about a man who has achieved the Omani version of the American dream. You have come a long way in 60 years.
Yeah, let's see.
How he went from mud walls to this next Monday night.
Meanwhile, I love your story in Latvia just by going like this in the phone book. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
Everyone in the world does have a story.
I think it's true.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Yes, you will.
Thank you so much, Steve.